Hey our geeks, welcome to another video. So today we will be discussing all about bacterial infections. I will be talking about the causative agents, transmission and their treatments. So many of you guys commented down below asking for this video and here am I with it. I know you asked me to do fungal as well as parasitic and viral. Shortly, it will come up in my future videos. Please stay tuned for that. Please take a little more time to put up. I hope this would be helpful. And if you would like to ask me some further topics, please let me know down in the comments. Now, without much ado, let's get right into it. So firstly, let us talk about the first disease on our list, tuberculosis. It is also called as a white plague because the bacteria forms a white color membrane when it affects. Okay, the causative agent is Mycobacterium tuberculosis and it is transmitted from person to person via droplets that result from sneezing or coughing. The line of drugs, so you know there are different lines of drugs. So one line of drug is isoniazid and rifampicin, and the other one is pyrazinamide and ethambutol. So these drugs are really important with respect to a few of the diseases, especially tuberculosis. Next one is leprosy. Leprosy is also known as the Hansen's disease, and currently this is basically eliminated in India. If you want to know the difference between eradicated, eliminated, and which diseases are in what status throughout the world, check out the I button. Okay, now leprosy is caused by the organism Mycobacterium leprae, and again it is spread via droplets. The antibiotics that are given are dapsone, rifampicin, fluoroquinolones, and macrolides. So basically, these appear as lesions on the skin. Next one is impetigo. Impetigo is caused by these S. aureus and S. pyogenes. Here S stands for Staphylococcus, so Staphylococcus aureus and Streptococcus pyogenes. This is spread by direct contact and can be cured by using topical or oral antibiotics. Next is the SSS, that is Staphylococcus clade skin syndrome. As the name suggests, it is caused by Staphylococcus aureus. It is very contagious and is spread via direct contact. It can be cured by using topical or oral antibiotics. Next up is the TSS, that is the toxic shock syndrome, which is again caused because of Staphylococcus aureus. Now, usually it is a localized infection. It gets in through a localized portion and then it spreads entirely in the bloodstream. And once it spreads in the bloodstream, there are many adverse effects that are found. There was a big case wherein tampons that are used during menstruation by women, they basically can easily get infected with this Staphylococcus aureus bacteria that produce the toxin. And this toxin basically due to the spread in the bloodstream can cause many adverse effects. It can be again encountered by antibiotics like clindamycin and vancomycin. Next is erysipelas, and this is caused by the Streptococcus pyogenes, and these bacteria get entry into your system via a cut or an abrasion, and this can be treated by giving oral or intravenous penicillin. Next one is the erythema nodosa, which is caused by again Streptococcus pyogenes. This is in conjugation with other streptococcal infections. So once a streptococci established, they are like the secondary organisms at that site, and there is no direct antibiotic for them. However, if in severe cases, then you will use anti-inflammatory drugs. So mostly streptococcal and staphylococcal infections are associated with the skin and they tend to get into via the cut wounds. Okay. And even streptococcus is known for your gale ki kharash, right? So those kind of things are caused by these bacteria. Always remember, mostly associated with the skin. Next, very famous, all teenagers problem, acne. So acne is caused by the bacterium Propionibacterium acnes, and obviously it is not transmissible. It can be treated by drugs like erythromycin and clindamycin in severe cases. Next one is the otitis externa. Now this is basically an infection of the ear. Okay, and you can see a green color pigment that is produced, which is a characteristic of this bacteria called as Pseudomonas aeruginosa. And basically the infection results from swimming in the water for a long time. So it basically is transmitted from the water body. So any water bodies can be a harbor for this bacteria, and they can enter through the ear and cause this infection. How to get rid of this? So basically using acidic ear drops along with some antibacterials and steroids will keep you free from this infection. Next is cholera. So we all know that cholera is basically caused by the comma-shaped bacteria called as Vibrio cholerae. Okay, the morphology is comma-shaped and it is usually spread via contaminated food or water or via the fecal oral route. So if there is any contamination with infected feces, then you can contract cholera. So basically the drugs that are given are oral or intravenous, and there is no actual drug. It is majorly drugs are given for rehydration, because during this process a lot of body fluids are lost because of the action of this cholera toxin. So due to the cholera toxin there is a lot of body fluids lost, and therefore the treatment is, the therapy is to rejuvenate you with all of these fluids. So you are started with the central line to cure this. Now, one point I would like to add over here is that cholera and the bacteria causing tuberculosis, both of these were first found out by the scientist Robert Koch. Remember this, they ask in many of the entrance exams. Next one is the typhoid. Again, typhoid is caused and contaminated through the Salmonella typhi via coming in contact with the contaminated food or contaminated water, and it is also called as the enteric fever. It can be again treated with antibiotics like ciprofloxacin along with the fluid therapy. Now with this I would like to here bring up another story, that is of the typhoid Mary, who was a lifelong carrier of typhoid. So basically she used to work in a kitchen, she was a cook, and she gave this infection to many people throughout her life. So do check the story out. Next is tetanus. Now this is one of the very favorite questions of all examiners. Tetanus is also called as the lockjaw syndrome. Here actually these bacteria, they secrete this toxin called as a tetanospasmin, which basically binds to the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, and it causes a lot of nerve damage. It even results in the bending in the arc shape of the body. So lockjaw, bending in the arc shape are severe cases of tetanus. It is caused by the bacteria Clostridium tetani, and it is spread through open cuts or wounds. So therefore, whenever you have a cut via some rusted surface, it is advised to take the tetanus injections. So the prevention is the DPT injection, the vaccination, and in case of already infected, you get a dose of TIG, that is basically human immunoglobulin. Next is the whooping cough or pertussis. Whooping cough or pertussis is caused by the bacteria Bordetella pertussis. This is basically transmitted via droplets, and it is a person-to-person transmission. It can be prevented by using the DPT vaccine. If you want to know more about vaccines, their classification, I've made a video on it. Definitely do check it out. And the other antibiotics that can be used are clarithromycin, erythromycin, and azithromycin. Okay, so these are the different bacteria that cause this infection. Thus far, if this is helping you, please guys give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. I'm really working hard for you, and I'm so glad that you all are commenting down below with all your recommendations. I'll definitely try my best to fulfill all of those. Next is syphilis. Now syphilis is basically caused by the bacteria Triphonema pallidum, and basically it is a STI, that is a sexually transmitted infection. It can be treated by benzathine penicillin G that is given intramuscularly. There is typical formation of this called as the chancre, which basically is a lesion on the skin. Okay, so chancres are a characteristic of syphilis. Next is gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is commonly called as the clap, and basically it is caused by the bacteria Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Again, an STI, and you can treat it by ceftriaxone injection and with oral drugs, that is azithromycin. So a combination of both injection and oral drugs. Next, again, chlamydia. Now, chlamydia is basically caused by the bacteria Chlamydia trichomatis, again an STI, and it can be treated with azithromycin and doxycycline. Next is bacterial vaginosis, which basically is characterized by a fishy odor from the vagina. It is caused by bacteria Gardnerella vaginalis, Fusobacterium, and Bacteroides. Now, these are basically not caused because of any sexual transfer. So there is no sexual transmitted, but it is said to be associated with sexual activity. So due to sexual activity, this condition may cause the bacteria to come and grow at that position. So therefore, it is said to be linked to sexual activity. However, it is not sexually transmitted. It can be treated by metronidazole, clindamycin, and tinidazole. Next is gas gangrene. Gas gangrene, very, very fatal. And gas gangrene usually leads to the amputation. So you have to amputate in order to stop the spread. Clostridium perfringens, this was mainly seen during the time of the First World War, because these actually spread through open wounds and are usually harbored in the soil. So poor infection control practices also cause this infection. It is usually a cause of infection in hospitals. So those diseases that are spread when during a stay in a hospital are called as the nosocomial infections. Again, I'm repeating, what are nosocomial infections? Those that are spread during your stay in the hospital. So you came with a primary infection, but because you were in the hospital, you contracted some other infection from there. So that is the nosocomial infection. So Clostridium perfringens is one that causes a lot of nosocomial infections. Second is the Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and third one is the C. difficile infection. Remember these. Okay, now it is again said to spread from inanimate objects, mainly during surgeries. The unsterilized equipment or gloves, they may cause this infection in the patient. It is not transmitted from person to person, and therefore these people don't need to be isolated as such. It can be treated by penicillin and clindamycin. Next is the Lyme disease. Now, Lyme disease is caused by the bacteria Borrelia burgdorferi, which is basically harbored into ticks. So this disease is basically spread via ticks by the bite. So if an infected tick bites you, you get this bacteria that causes Lyme disease. Okay, the different ticks here are given: black leg ticks, etc. Next one is leptospirosis. Leptospirosis is also called as the Weil's disease, and these are usually seen during the monsoon time. I'll tell you why. Leptospirosis is caused by this bacteria, Leptospira interrogans. Now, basically, leptospirosis, this bacteria Leptospira, is harbored in the kidneys of animals. Okay, so animals like dogs, rodent, farm animal, they harbor this in their kidneys and release it via the urine. If you come in contact with this infected water, infected with this urine, or soil infected with this urine, you can contract this leptospirosis. So it especially happens during monsoon, because during monsoon there is a lot of water everywhere. So there is a chance that the urine may get mixed with the water, and if you have any cuts or wounds in your extremities, then definitely the bacteria can gain access and cause diseases. So this is cured by using penicillin and doxycycline. Next is necrotizing fasciitis. This is caused by Streptococcus pyogenes, and it is a very difficult disease to treat. Okay, it does not respond very easily to different antibiotics, and usually infections by S. pyogenes leads to amputations. These are usually contracted by mountaineers or basically those who are much into contact with the soil in the forest areas. And any cuts or wounds can be easily manifested by this necrotizing fasciitis. They are also called as the flesh eating bacteria. Please remember this, necrotizing fasciitis is also called, the S. pyogenes are also called as the flesh eating bacteria. They are spread via soil through cuts and abrasions, and they are treated using intravenous basically antibiotics. Next is diphtheria. Diphtheria can be easily looked up by watching a gray color coating on the tonsils or basically at the tongue end. So tonsils coated gray is basically a manifestation of diphtheria, which is caused by the bacteria Corynebacterium diphtheriae, and it is transmitted via droplets, so airborne, and it can be prevented by giving the DPT vaccine or through antibiotics like penicillin, erythromycin, and also antitoxins are administered because diphtheria releases many toxins. Next is pneumonia. Pneumonia is caused by the organism Streptococcus pneumoniae, which is basically causing, again, droplet spread by droplet infection, and it can be treated by microlides and azithromycin. Now, pneumonia is not only bacterial, there are viral pneumonia that, as you see, is in COVID-19. Pneumonia is also caused because of Haemophilus influenzae. So there are many different strains that are causing pneumonia. Even Klebsiella pneumoniae causes pneumonia. So pneumonia has many different types of organisms. Next is anthrax. Now, anthrax is basically spread by this bacteria called as Bacillus anthracis. And basically, it was used as a bioweapon during the initial World War. And it is a spore-forming bacteria. So when the spores enter through cuts, they can be manifested by this bacteria, and they will grow into your body. Now, how will you treat this infection? So basically, this can be treated by using penicillin, erythromycin, tetracycline. Remember, the special characteristics of anthrax is one, that it is used as a bioweapon. It was used as a bioweapon. Second important thing is that Robert Koch, he actually proved the Koch postulates using this bacteria, Bacillus anthracis. Next one is the bubonic plague, also called as the Black Death. This was a reason for a large number of lives taken. So bubonic plague was basically caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, which was actually harbored into the flea vector Xenosylla. It can be treated by streptomycin, gentamicin, or using doxycycline. Next one is legionellosis. Now, legionellosis is caused by the bacteria Legionella pneumoniophila. Legionellosis was basically found in legionnaires who were staying in a particular place where this infection spread to all of them. Now, this in a less severe form is called as the Pontiac fever. In this less severe form, it can be spread via droplets, and basically it can be treated via the antibiotics that are used to treat pneumonia. Next is the scarlet fever. So scarlet fever is basically caused due to the group A type of streptococci, and it can be spread from person to person through salival or nasal secretions. And the antibiotics penicillin or amoxicillin can be used to get rid of these. Next is the kennel cough. Kennel cough is also called as canine parainfluenza. This, mind you, is not a human infecting disease. It is basically only seen in dogs, and it is an airborne infection. It is caused by the organism Bordetella. Next is shigellosis. Shigellosis is called as the bacillary dysentery, and it is caused by the Shigella species. Again, the transmission is via the fecal-oral route, or when you come in contact with contaminated food or water. It can be treated with the beta-lactam class of antibiotics. Next is the Malta fever. Malta fever is caused by the Brucella species, and this is again spread via direct or indirect contact with the cattle. Okay, so cattle to human transmission is seen, and it is basically treated by giving the antibiotics doxycycline and rifampicin. Okay. Again, one thing I would like to add is this Brucella species, they cause another disease called as brucellosis. We'll come to it, that is this here. So brucellosis is basically caused by the Brucella arbotis. This is the most notorious bacteria causing brucellosis. There are other strains as well, but this one is usually the cause, and this brucella is actually harbored in animals, specifically in the cattle, sheep, and goats. So basically, it is transmitted from animals to people through the consumption of unpasteurized milk. It can be treated by doxycycline or trimethoprim along with gentamicin or streptomycin. Next is the trench fever. Trench fever is caused by the bacteria Bartonella quintana, and basically it is spread through louse vectors, and when we come in contact with this louse vector, humans contract the infection. Again, it can be treated by using doxycycline, macrolides, and ceftriaxone. Next is tularemia. Tularemia is basically spread by the bacteria Francisella tularensis. And how do we get this bacteria? So basically, if the infected rabbit is handled by a person or eaten, or through the flies or ticks, this can be contracted. So eating or handling of infected animals through ticks or flies, these bacteria can be harbored by us. So they are basically transferred from the vector to us via to us, and the organism can be eradicated, can be treated by using the drugs streptomycin and gentamicin. Finally, to the last one, that is rheumatic fever. Rheumatic fever is caused by Streptococcus pyogenes. Okay, now it is basically a sequela of streptococcal pharyngitis. So the pharyngitis causing streptococci then lead to this formation of rheumatic fever, and it can be treated by the antibiotics benzathine and benzyl penicillin. So at this, we have come to an end of this bacterial infections. I have covered majorly all of the infections that can be asked in all of the papers. So definitely try to learn everything of this and try to attempt the questions that are maybe put down somewhere in the comments below without actually looking. So if you remember, that means you're done with the topic. So that's it from me for today. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.